There's a lot of theories out there, but I'm gonna tell you why Baylan's mission can only lead to one place. So stick around because I have a twist for you that's gonna set my theory apart. From the moment we found out about Baylan's mission until the season finale we just watched, I've been very curious and been researching and trying to figure out what he's going after.
Oh, because I'm curious? I'm a curious guy.
And I started doing a little bit of research, and I'm gonna give away right now half the theory, which is it is tied to the Abeloth, but there's more to it than that, but we'll get to it. What I want to do is discuss some of the main theories that are being discussed by fans and by Star Wars experts, other channels, and explain why there is no way they could be right. It doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make sense! Well, your face doesn't make sense!
So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll discuss why my theory makes the most sense. There are a few things that Baylan said that give us a strong hint to what he's talking about.
Fall of the Jedi, rise of the Empire. It repeats again and again and again.
So we're going to use these clues to come up with a logical theory.
That sort of power is fleeting. I seek is the beginning, so I may finally bring this cycle to an end.
And that beginning is here.
If the old stories are true.
They seem eager to leave this place. Maybe we should too.
Perhaps they flee a power greater than their own. Something calls to me. Can't you hear it? Something stirs here. Can't you see it?
These are the clues that we get from Baylan when he's speaking to Shinhati. Let's think about what the clues Baylan gave are. He said he first dismissed the Jedi and the Empire as fleeting power. He said he wants something that breaks the cycle. It's something that's ancient, long forgotten, and he even labeled it with the beginning. And finally, it's found on Peridia or in Peridia, the new galaxy planet. Now let's discuss some of the more popular theories I've come across. And after we've laid them all out, we'll talk about why they don't line up. I've heard the Bendu a lot, so Baylan is looking for the Bendu, who is a colossal and ancient being for those that didn't watch Rebels.
I'm the one in the middle, the Bendu.
Smack dab in the middle of the Force, between the light and the dark. He helped Kanan Jarrus see after he went blind.
So, tell me, how do I restore my sight?
And he predicted the defeat of Grand Admiral Thrawn at the end of Rebels. Another one is the Force Priestesses, a group of mysterious beings that dwell in the wellspring of light. They showed up in the Clone Wars and put Yoda through a series of tests in order to teach him how to become a Force ghost. Another common one, and one we've seen a few times, is the world between worlds. It's a space beyond place and time. It has doors connecting to the past, the present, and the future, and it's a conduit between the living force and the cosmic force, and also the living and the dead. So when you enter it, you can hear voices from the past, the present, and the future, and even see events from the past, present, and the future.
I can see everything.
So this has shown up in Rebels, it's shown up in the Ahsoka series, and Ezra's accessed it, Ahsoka Tano's accessed it, Darth Sidious was trying to access it until Ezra and Ahsoka stopped him and held him back. Another one is the Mortis Family, also known as the Celestials. The Celestials manifested themselves in physical forms known as the Ones, and also the Mortis Family.
We can take many forms. The shapes we embody are merely a reflection of the life force around us.
There were force wielders that consisted of the father, who was supposed to be the balance between the daughter and the son, the daughter being the light and the son being the dark side of the force.
My children and I can manipulate the force like no other.
They showed up in the Clone Wars also in a few episode arc where the daughter ended up transferring her consciousness to Ahsoka to save her life.
What? Did we just become best friends?
There's the theory that now Ahsoka carries the spirit of the daughter. So those 4 are one category. We're gonna discuss them in a minute.
40 seconds, but I want to know.
I just want to talk about another category that I've come across. One of them is the Yuuzahn Vong, which are a race of biotechnological fanatics who rejected the Force and mechanical technology and invaded the main Star Wars galaxy. They came from another galaxy and they killed billions. They're not part of the Star Wars canon. They're considered Star Wars legends. Another idea thrown out by Ryan from Screen Crush, space dragons, which I thought were pretty interesting.
Chasing that space dragon. Rawr.
They're sort of like the Purgle. They dwell in the depths of space. They are very rare and elusive. There are civilizations also other than the Yuuzahn Vong, like the Kwa, the Rakata. Let's talk about why all these theories don't make any sense at all. The Bendu, the Force Priestesses, and the World Between Worlds, and the Mortis Family all showed up in other episodes. They all showed up in the main Star Wars galaxy. Why would Baylan need to travel to another galaxy to find something that is available in the galaxy he's in? It doesn't make any sense.
It's right there.
So I don't understand why these would even be considered theories. Even if Baylan found him, what is he gonna do with the Bendu? He doesn't have a certain power that he's gonna give Baylan, and Baylan's not gonna take him over and make him his little pet to run around and do things for him.
A pet? I am not your pet.
Same with the Force Priestesses. Yoda was able to access them in the main Star Wars galaxy. And even if Baylan found them, again, what could he possibly want to do with them? Same thing with the World Between Worlds. Ezra entered it from the main galaxy. Ahsoka entered it from the main galaxy. So why would Baylan need to go to another galaxy to get into the World Between Worlds? So that's the first group. Things that are already found in the main galaxy. All those could be dismissed because why would you need to go to another galaxy to find them? The other is, so if Baylan dismissed the Jedi and the Empire,
You're dismissed.
I don't think he's gonna be looking for another different sort of empire like the Yuuzahn Vong or the Kwa or the Rakata. Like, why would he want another army or another civilization? That can't be what he's looking for either. If he wanted that, he could probably get that from the main galaxy also. If he wanted to, erect an army, he doesn't need to go to another galaxy. And obviously, Peridia seems like a wasteland. So even if that's what he's looking for, it doesn't make sense he'd go to Peridia for that, right? So then what is he looking for? Now, when I started the video, I talked about the Abeloth, and I said that it's part of what Baylan is looking for. So let's explain that.
That's not the whole story.
For those that don't know, the Mortis family, we talked about the father, the son, and the daughter. These are what we saw in the Clone Wars and Rebels. But there's one individual that we haven't seen in canon yet, and that's the Abeloth. The Mortis family had a servant who became their mother. I'm gonna simplify this because this is getting very nerdy. Let's get into it. So they had a servant who became their mother. She was a mortal woman and they wanted her to live long. She drank from the font of power and bathed in the pool of knowledge, two sources of cosmic energy that granted her immortality but also corrupted her.
That escalated quickly.
And from there, she sought to dominate all of life in the galaxy. She has the ability to possess multiple bodies, create illusions, etc. And what I think Baylan is actually looking for is the font of power and the pool of knowledge. I think that's what he's looking for. However, I think the Abeloth is using her power to manipulate him and call him to her. So when he says,
Something calls to me. Can't you hear it?
that might be her trying to bring her to him. The font of power and the pool of knowledge are different aspects of the Force. The font of power grants limitless power, while the pool of knowledge reveals knowledge of all the past and the future. However, they're both tainted by the dark side of the Force, and both of them are connected to the Abeloth, and she has the power to influence those that use it or bathe in them. So she actually has the ability to lure Force-sensitive people to her planet, and then she tries to consume them or possess them. Now, we haven't seen them in the main canon. Dave Filoni, he can manipulate it however he wants to fit this particular series. And we've seen him do that with other things, right? But I think what he's actually thinks he's looking for is the font of power and the pool of knowledge, because this will give him immortality, this will give him power, and this really is tied to the idea of breaking the cycle for him. It's not the Empire, it's not the Force, it's not Jedi, it's something completely different. It's real power, it's immortality. I think it's the font of power and the pool of knowledge. This is what makes the most sense that he would be looking for. Now here's where it might get a little bit interesting. The Zeffo are interesting because one of the temples that we see in episode 6 have Zeffo writing on them. So that is an interesting theory.
Interesting.
They're ancient, powerful Force users that had a profound connection with the Force, and their culture was based on harmony with the Force that they called the Life Wind, which was just another manifestation of the Force.
Force! Force! Force!
Eventually they were corrupted and they tried to manipulate the Life Wind, and they were eventually wiped out. Maybe there's a particular access point in Peridia that was developed or made by the Zeffo, but my primary and main theory is that he's definitely looking for the font of power and the pool of knowledge. Anyways, let me know what you think. Did I miss any theories? Is there anything that it could be that I didn't mention? Do you agree with me that this makes the most sense and the other stuff really don't make any sense? I would love to hear from you, and throw me a like, and don't forget to subscribe. I have so many great ideas. I really wanted to put this episode out a lot earlier, but being new to editing, it took me a while, but I had this idea right when I watched the episode. I was watching it and I thought, man, what is he looking for? When I started doing the research, I was like, it can't be any of the stuff that I'm finding and people are mentioning, because if he wanted to find that stuff, so when I came across the Abeloth, I was like, this makes a lot of sense, but I'm also thinking, how is he gonna use her? I mean, she's not controllable. So then I found the source of her power, what gave her power, and I'm like, this is it. So I started working on the episode and taping it, and then I saw, as I was scrolling through YouTube, I started seeing it now a couple of days after the episode. I started seeing the Abeloth pop up, and I was like, okay, people have caught on to this. But I think they're still focused on her specifically, and my twist on it is it's not her that he's looking for. It's the source of her power, but she could be the one that is drawing him to her, because he feels something stirring. It does seem animalistic, and she does have that chaotic energy to her. So it could be what's drawing him to the area, or to the planet, or to the galaxy, or to that power. All right, like and subscribe. Okay, bye.